Hi there, I'm Emily from Emily's Treasure, and I'm going to be showing you how I've been making my Remembrance Day poppies this year for 2020. This is me and my poppy that I made in this video. First of all, I found an object in which to draw around. In this case, it was a ring clamp. I chose to use a ring clamp because it's slightly oval and gives a really good shape to the poppy in the end. When that's complete, I then cut out the shape of the petals. And then saw down any sharp edges and make sure you're happy with the overall shape. Next, I like to add a textured finish to the edge of my poppies. This is a hammered texture. I think it just adds an extra dimension and gives it another 3D element, which is actually quite delicate and in keeping with how a poppy should look. Next, I used a doming punch to make my poppy into a 3D shape. Next, I cut the centre for the poppy. This is a disc cutter. All it does is cut discs to whatever size that you need. And then we need to remove the film which comes on the silver. The film is there just to stop it from scratching as it is a precious metal. I use the doming block again to make a raised centre for the poppy. Once that's complete, you can then see the shape coming together. I sandpapered the bottom so that it makes a really good contact with the base metal underneath. I've used quite a bit of solder paste here. You don't normally need to use this much, but in this case, I'll demonstrate to you later why I use this much. But I like to use solder paste because it does tend to hold things in place while you're soldering, and it's great for jobs like this where you just want to be quick. Once the join has been soldered, we need to quench it, and immediately you see that copper patina which comes with copper. I think it's so pretty and I like to keep it as much as I can. Next, we file a flat part of the back of the poppy in where you'll place your pin. This is medium solder, whereas before I used hard. Medium melts at a lower temperature so you don't ruin the hard solder which you've done previously, if that makes sense, because it melts before your other solder. Once that's quenched again, then you see the overall shape really coming together. Hopefully we'll be able to keep that copper patina around the edges. Next I use a ball burr to create little dimples to make the centre of the poppy have a bit more detail. This is quite time consuming and this part was sped up by 10 times. You can just keep placing little dimples where you see gaps until you're happy with the overall look. Next we need to blacken the surface of the silver, so this is just some pumice powder with water just to clean up that area, because we're going to be using liver of sulphur which doesn't like any grease or any dirt on the surface at all, or else it won't work. Liver of sulphur works by a chemical reaction in which the silver turns black. This includes the solder which is around the edge, so that's why I used so much solder before, because then you have a lot of solder around the bottom and it will turn really black around the edge as well as the centre. As you can see, it will turn black before your eyes, but it does take a few moments to do that. Next we place the poppy into a barrel polisher or a tumbler. This is rolled around with a metal shot, which is basically little metal stainless steel balls and different shapes of different sizes in a high polished state. It rolls around and it just smooths out any of the edges and just creates a nice finish on the edge and on the pin especially. The barrel polishing machine is no good for getting into little crevices, but this is a good thing in this point because you don't want it to take away any of the black that we've got in the edges or any of the detail on the inside, like in the dimples that we've made. Next, the final stage, we just need to polish and just want to take away some of the black of the centre, just so a little bit of high shine silver comes through, and then just polish around the edge to make a nice shiny edge. And then don't forget the pin, because we don't want anything catching on any clothes, or and you don't want any snags on your clothing at all. So, and that's the final stage. We've about come to the end of our process. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. This has been my first video. So please let me know what you think below.